The Arex Rex 01T for tactical with the suppressor height sights, optics ready, and threaded barrel. In today's shooting impressions, you'll see our absolute cold shots first impressions through the gun. We'll test full magazine +1. Our trademark what's for dinner test to see what the gun will eat. We'll try it on the spinner for sights and trigger control, then do some practical accuracy from 7 yards before giving you the concluding thoughts from 2 different shooters. Coming up next on GBGuns.
So cold shots, cold first grip. A little bit different grip angle, not grip angle, it's wider than I was expecting.
This is the original of the 02S that you like so much.
Okay. That wasn't working.
And we have our reduced size torso target out there at about 20 yards, just so we've got something to aim at. But this is really about how the gun feels in those first moments, first shots. 10 rounds of PMC bronze, 115 grain loaded, thanks to our Ammo Squared supporters. Oh, what did we get? Looks like it didn't feed.
Didn't go in all the way. And doing that kind of hurt. But it worked. Starting. And again.
Another feed issue.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, mic whack, folks. I wonder if it's
either you hear me or you don't. And
I wonder if
you'll get whacked.
If this is magazine or ammo related, or just that it's soft ammo.
There's one in the chamber. I'm putting the magazine back in. I just wanted to make sure that it had seated correctly.
Okay.
Oh, those suppressor sights just got me.
Another feed issue.
Extraction issue?
Yeah, that's an interesting one. If you can hold it still, let's see if I can zoom in. The slide caught the, come on camera, focus. The slide caught the brass. And the next round was still trying to go in.
Yeah, so.
These ones are fun to clear. I'd recommend locking the slide to the rear to get that brass out of the way. And hopefully not losing, there you go, not losing the one that was on its way in.
I just want to double it. But it looks like I'm out. I did not get slide lock. Magazine is empty. Okay, seriously, this is cold on the range. You're learning with me right here.
This is Tia's first time touching this gun at all.
Okay, that's going to disassemble it.
No.
How do I lock it to the rear?
The slide release, up on the slide release. Try it with the mag, if that's, okay, there we go.
Got it. Gun is empty.
So I wonder, is this ammo too soft? Does the gun just need break-in? Is it a mag issue?
I don't know. It's going to make for an interesting what's for dinner for sure. But first, let's see your thoughts.
Interesting, Tia's experience there. Now the gun is fairly dry. We shoot guns as they come out of the box. If I experience the same thing, so we're going to throw some lube on it before we continue. But I want to see how it's going. And I'm going to decock and run double action first shot to get a feel for the double action on this thing. Woo, those are tall sights. See what you meant. Hi guys. Decock. The single action's nice. Mm-hmm. It makes you want to go fast. Very comfortable recoil impulse. It's kind of a big, sluggish, heavy feel. Double action is certainly heavy, but not unpredictable. I was able to kind of stage it there.
I'll try that on what's for dinner once or twice.
And we did not get slide lock. So the gun ran more consistently for me than it did for Tia. It may be break-in. It may be the dryness. I mean, there is just a touch of lube on here, so.
It could be that the grip angle does not favor my hands, and maybe I was limp wristing. I don't think so. I felt like I had a pretty good grip on it, but it's a possibility.
Well, and PMC bronze is notably soft ammunition. We'll drop some lube on this and then move into our full mag +1, and that should really break it in. For full magazine +1, we're gonna keep running that PMC bronze. It's what we've got. I did lube the rails. This does have full length rails that run the whole length of the damn frame. Helps keep things very secure. It's also a lot of friction points, so maybe that was what the issue was. There's our +1. Loving that ambi magazine release. And we've got the 20 rounder, which has the +2. A viewer of the tabletop said that he would break this. I don't know why. That just seems, I mean, these aren't cheap. Why would you break something? Anyways, putting that in, we now have 21 rounds. Same piece of steel out there. I'm gonna try to hit, but really we're gonna try to burn it through and see how this magazine, especially with the +2 on there, wants to run. Had to get used to the stroke of the trigger. The reset is not as short as you would expect, but it's definitely still very positive, and no issues running the gun. I think it just needed a little lube and a little break-in. Next, we'll see what it eats.
I'll hold it tighter.
It's that time again. What's for dinner time? Thanks to Ammo Squared of some viewer contributions, True Shot Gun Club, and our patrons. We've got 10 different loads. Our lightest here at 65 grain. We're going up to 165 grain today. And as I go by them, you'll see they all have different projectile shapes, overall loaded lengths. The ogive, that's the curve that meets the bore diameter, is in a different spot on each of these. We've got different case material. We're looking to see, does the gun feed it from slide lock? Is there enough energy to cycle and pick up another round of the same type? And does it lock open when empty? 3 shots tells us that. Anything past that's testing the magazine, which really costs too much time and money. So this is what we got. Off camera, I said this could be an interesting what's for dinner if this gun's a little ammo sensitive, and Tia's response was,
It's going to be annoying because we're going to start what's for dinner off at circle number 1 with Liberty Ammunition Civil Trainer in 65 grain, and then we're going up to what?
165.
Yeah, and I get the light one, the limp wrist. I don't think I have a limp wrist. Okay, I got that to work that time.
Are you going to try to decock and double action the first shot?
That's what you'd like.
It's stout, but it's
okay.
worth
That's pretty cool. Just to thumb down.
Yeah, it's
I like that better than having to engage my right thumb. My thumb is not quite long enough to do that on a lot of guns. So the fact that I can use my support hand to do that, I would use it more often then. And I'm just now noticing how curved the trigger is for this double pull. That's awesome.
Yep, which is why I wanted to see how your finger reach would be for that double action first pull.
It sucks.
Yeah, it's...
Okay. Yeah, I'm not able to get a great grip. Because the frame and stock are so large, it's bouncing itself out of my hands, which is common.
And these were my notes 7 years ago when I first shot the Arex 01. It's massive, and that works for my banana hands, but you weren't around back then, so I didn't know how it works for more realistically sized hands.
More average, if you will. Are we still on?
Yeah.
Okay, for circle number 2, we have the Arex Inceptor. These are also a 65 grain. Cute little copper things. Decocked again. Just to see, because it did affect my round placement.
Shooting a good double action first shot is not easy.
So I'm going to take a bit different stance on the trigger and grip. And there's that smell I can't quite identify yet.
Cycled nicely.
So that helped.
Look at that group. Double action first shot.
So sent in from a viewer, we have the Underwood right? Yeah,
Yeah.
Underwood Ammo High Performance Plus P 68 grain Extreme Defender. These, very handsome.
Little copper screwdriver tips, very short projectile.
Yeah, this just does not work for me. I'll decock again because it's been fun so far. Circle 3. So as painful as it is for you to watch, me pull that. It's just as painful on my wrist. But once I get through it, I'm okay.
Spectacular group with a double action first shot.
So at circle number 4, we have Centerfire's Next Generation, I forget, these are 100 grain rounds.
These are lead free, and I think they're frangible.
Interesting that I'm able to use the slide
Release.
with some and not with others. Like, it was really easy. And now I'll decock.
It may just be breaking in.
See, I have to adjust my action and hold it through to the single action shots.
Still pretty darn good.
For circle 5, we have Blazer's aluminum finished ammunition in 115 grain. These are full metal jacket, and Graham will now tell you why we shoot aluminum and steel cased ammo.
We shoot aluminum steel cased ammunition because, well, it's commercially available and enticing because it's less expensive. That's because the materials are less expensive. However, steel and aluminum expand and contract at a different rate than brass, which is what most guns were intended to run on. They also have a different friction coefficient within the magazines against each other and in the chamber, and as a result, some guns choke on them. So we like to see and let you know if it's going to run or not. Come on, camera, focus. Sorry about that, folks. Hopefully you can see. It's a nice group. Good shooting to you. Circle 6 is Bellum's 124 grain full metal jacket. This tends to feel like it's a NATO load. So for a NATO gun, should be right at home.
Yes, it's not just me.
Interesting. It's somehow easier with the support thumb than it is firing hand thumb. Very 1911-esque with the support hand use there. And I'll decock for the first shot. Circle 6. Hi, tall sights. They're just so proud. But it's what you want if you're going to run a dot or a spider. No cycling issues. I love right side magazine releases. On number 7, we're running some ZQI 124 grain. We call this the all the stuff because it's a steel case that happens to be nickel plated to help counter that corrosion and friction issue. And it's a brass jacketed full metal jacket, 124 grain. Yeah, it's fine with the support thumb, not with my firing hand thumb. I appreciate that on these sights, the front sight is nice and crisp. And the rear sights are like intentionally blurred out. So you've got a 3-dot sight picture, but your eye is not, the dots aren't competing for your attention. Circle number 8, Federal Syntec Training Match 124 grain with a purple synthetic jacket. TLX purple. Oh, they got it that time. You know, the double action breaks sooner than you expect. Like I'm accustomed to a hammer traveling farther before the double action goes off.
Oh, fair.
And Tia was kicking butt with it. Circle number 8, Hornady's Critical Duty 135 grain with the Flex Lock nickel-plated case. These are rather pointy bullets for being 135 grain.
You should aim at circle number 9 though.
You're right, because circle number 8 is already busy.
Yeah.
These tend to have kind of a cinnamony, Christmassy smell.
Christmas.
And a lot more recoil, which I am certainly feeling in this gun.
Ooh, well placed.
But as an environmentalist, I conserved paper by putting 2 rounds in the same hole. And our last load from Ammo Inc. is their Stealth minus the A. 165 grain TMC. We have this courtesy of True Shot Gun Club.
I just find that so interesting.
It's really odd.
And when that happens, the bullet traveling into the chamber, you can see differently than when it's just easily deployed.
You know, it's something I'm sure, since these guns have been out for a while, I'm sure some of you already own one. If you've got any insights on that, let us know. Meanwhile, let's see how it runs this slow boy stuff, which, considering this is a threaded barrel, having this subsonic would be nice.
Graham's definitely having an excellent shooting day.
I gotta catch up to Tia. Smoking me on some of those groups.
I've never done that.
That is our 6-inch Titan Great Outdoors spinner target, and we are back here about 12, 13 yards away. We use this for sights and trigger control because it's a small target at distance, and once you hit it, it starts moving, which makes timing a well-placed shot all the more important. It's a test of how well we can learn the sights and trigger control, but since we've reviewed a couple hundred handguns, it gives us also a chance to speak of it relative to other guns. Nice shot. Hit some good hits.
So I was hitting, I'm just not fast enough. And that comes down to my swinger timing. Had absolutely nothing to do with the gun. I think I have some brass somewhere. Everything about the gun, except for that double action on that first shot, that was a terrible idea. Because I might have needed that extra shot, as you saw. Everything else, that was probably my most pleasant spinner challenge, because it's very challenging for me to wrap my head around. I prefer the accuracy part. But yeah, the front sight being so bright, like you said, with the rear sights being a little muted, was definitely a plus. Yeah.
Seemed like you had no trouble timing your shots with that trigger either.
I was not in my head as much this time. And so that speaks to the ease of learning this platform, and that being easier to understand and be comfortable with and things like that let me focus on that more. And so, but when I'm trying to do both, it's a wash.
And now I've got 9 rounds to give this a try. Just got to rack it, I guess. And let's go double action first shot just to learn it some more.
See, I need to learn how to get this first couple of shots. Well done. Oh.
I think that's a new record. That's a first.
I would have to agree.
That's a first time 4 times over.
Yeah, well done.
Nice. So obviously it's very difficult to time your shots, and these sights don't work for me at all. I'm just kidding. No. The reset, which we showed you in the tabletop, is really light, and it has this I don't want to say dainty, but this very light, gentle click to let you know you're ready. But as soon as you feel that click and pull again, it's right there. So it's, when you learn that and you're in tune with that, follow-up shots are pretty darn easy with this trigger.
It's got a very well-balanced, functioning platform, if you will.
Yeah, it's nicely done. It'll be fun to do the accuracy test. I just noticed our thread protector, however, has walked its way off.
Okay. A lot.
A lot.
Actually caught it this time though. I didn't have to go looking for washers.
Yeah, and I mentioned the tabletop that on this 01 version, there's no O-ring in there to help with friction or anything, so you do have to watch out for that. All right, let's go group this.
So for accuracy, we're using Nosler's 115 grain assured stopping power. And I will be aiming at the left circle square.
And that's a 1-inch square. We're 7 yards away. And typically to scale, that makes those squares about the same breadth as a front side post.
And I'm not going to double action.
You're not going to double action?
No.
You did so well on the What's for Dinner.
You handicapped, well, no, you didn't. Retracted. Maybe I should have. I was expecting more pull and didn't get any. Interesting.
You did better with some of the What's for Dinner rounds.
But I didn't get slide lock.
Oh. 5 shots of Nosler ASP from 7 yards. Haha! Did it that time. And I am going to double action this first shot. Drum roll, please.
Probably should have.
It's a heavy one. It slipped right at the end. And I did get slide lock, but you didn't.
Well, so my overall impressions are that I really enjoyed this gun. I'm noticing that it does not have an interchangeable backstrap system. So that is difficult for me. It makes it hard for me to, I mean, I did well pulling the double action, but I had to put a lot of thought into that, and it puts a lot of strain on my hand. I definitely could not run double action all day long. Prior injuries here, so the sights, I love them. The trigger, I wish it was a little flatter, because that would eliminate some of that reach for me there. I do appreciate the double, though I did not use them. And of special note was the decocker, using the support hand, making it easier to deploy. That means that I would use, sorry, it's right there. I would use it more, whereas a lot of others I don't, because I don't have the reach to make it grab your gun in a good defensive manner, and I have to adjust my grip. So for me, it's not a practical thing on a lot of other guns. Even the safety, where they're put, for me, it's not practical to consider using in a self-defense manner. But otherwise, I had a lot of fun.
And you enjoyed the 02S
Yes.
quite a bit. And at that time, you had not shot one of these. This is sort of the original. This is where the Rex 0 series got started.
And they started a great thing. Like this is a really impressive firearm, and I think what they learned from this, what I'm learning from this, led to maybe some of their design changes, because I would not have thought the two to be of the same make, if you will. Very, very well made.
Off camera, T and I were talking a little more about the differences between this 01T and the 02S that she knew better. And there's definitely a generational change, and the 02S is certainly a second generation, if you will, of this. That doesn't speak down to this at all. I think, and what we were agreeing off camera, is this is a large-handed person's duty gun type build, and the 02S is a more general purpose, general user fit as far as hand and controls and what the gun may or may not be picky about, reach the trigger, all of that kind of stuff.
And the market has probably changed from when that was originated to now, where you've got a larger consumer basis that have more average size hands.
Well, and also, yeah, and to your point, I think, and I'm just theorizing here, but Arex got their start. They wanted to go after European military and law enforcement contracts, and they kind of made their way into the US and US consumer market. So this as an original design for your Slovene, German, Austrian, you name it, cops and military to consider, not a bad idea. Joe Schmo civilian looking for a carry and range gun, the 02S, I think maybe fits a little better. But that doesn't detract from the capabilities of this at all. It's just the 02, I think, fits. This is like your F-250 pickup truck that is dedicated for heavier use. And I think the 02S is more like an F-150 that can be driven around more and used more as a daily driver. I don't know, would you say that's a fair comparison?
I mean, why make a new model if you're not going to improve something? And I think that they definitely took what they may have learned from this design and made those changes and came up with the platform that they have now. And
what's kind of cool about thinking about all this is that this is leaps and bounds from the SIG 226, which is kind of where the design family comes from. I remember when 2016, I got to be the first American to make a video about these guns, and it was just like, wow, this is the next thing. And now we look at what Arex has done since this with the 02, and that's another evolution. So it's a neat piece, design and function wise, that I'm proud to have part of our collection. Thanks for watching.